Habits are unconscious, repetitive acts, and we want to interrupt them as much as possible. The first thing is to become conscious or aware of the habit, and the second is to interrupt it. If we don't interrupt the habit, then what happens is it becomes something that we embed farther and farther into our cellular memory. So there is a habit around our stance. What we want to do is to make sure that we practice in a way in which our legs are hip width apart. And you want them just as wide as your hips. You don't want to cut the distance. So what people do is when they step out, a common habit is that as they're stepping out, they cut the distance. And here you see that they're lined up. And when it's lined up in a straight line, like you might do in ballet, what happens is that you're not as stable. So you want to make sure that when you practice in a way in which as you're stepping out, your legs are still hip width apart, just hip width apart. Another habit we have is on that first move. And when we're stepping out, instead of making a clean cut, people cleave the cut and they cut across their body. So what we want to do is to make a clean, straight cut. So we practice it in a way which you're taking the breath and you're making a straight cut, just a straight cut, all the way out. What you don't want to do is to do the habit of going across the body, where you take the cut and you're going across the body. And as you're doing this, as you can see, I am facing in the other direction. I'm not facing straight ahead. So here what we want to do is to just take a cut and straight out. Another habit we have is overextension. Rather than having a centered, powerful stance, a 60-40 stance, what we do is we overextend ourselves. And so in that first cut, for example, rather than just doing a powerful stance where we're just making a cut and we're standing basically with our weight halfway in between our front and our back legs, that what people do is they overextend. And so they take the breath and they come all the way out. And as you can see, I'm not even looking up at this point. I'm actually looking down. And so at this point, I'm vulnerable. What you want to do is you want to practice in a way in which you take that breath and you stand powerfully upright with your weight halfway between your front and your back. People also overextend on the move in which we're going slingshot forward. So what they do is the way we should practice is we should just come out and bring it up. And what people do is they overextend and they go too far out and they put their arms too far out so that you're almost looking down. And when I'm looking down, I am not paying attention. So therefore, I need to make sure that my weight just comes out right into the middle of my two legs and just like this. So when we practice, what we want to do is to practice keeping our eyes on the horizon. Just keep our eyes right at the level, at eye level, all the way around. As we make our turns, just keep your eyes on the horizon. So what we have a habit of doing is following our hands. We follow the action of our hands rather than the horizon. So we're going to do two moves and show you how we want to do it, which is keeping your eyes on the horizon. So first a snake to the sun. Okay. So here, turn, and then to the sun. Okay. And then we'll show you the habit. So the habit here is to have our eyes down, our head down, we're following our hands, and then looking up. Okay. So instead of that, you want to make sure you have your eyes on the horizon. So eyes right on the horizon, right at eye level, all the way up as you turn your head. The other that people really follow their hands is on the dragon's tail. So we're going to do it first the correct way, and then we're going to do it in a way in which you see the habit. Okay, so we'll start here. We've just done the rain or the mountain. Okay, you want to keep your eyes on the horizon. Shift the weight and come all the way around with our head level and up. Okay. And now you'll see the habit. Okay. So we just did the rain. Okay. And shift the weight, and people follow their eyes, and they come around, and they come up. Okay. So you want to make sure that you keep your eyes on the horizon. Again, the proper way to practice: mountain, eyes on the horizon, staying at that level.